I never thought I'd bury my own dreams to keep a family afloat. But that's exactly what I did when Mom's cancer came knocking like an uninvited drunk at 2 a.m. One night, while I scrubbed blood from her hospice bed after a coughing fit that rattled the windows, my sister-in-law, Vanessa, was signing papers for her dream home with money that was supposed to send my daughter to college. And the kicker? She looked me dead in the eye the next day at the family barbecue, sipping rose on her new patio, and said, "Family sticks together. Gabby, isn't that what you always preach?" The fluorescent hum of the oncology ward was my lullaby those last months. I'd clock out from my day job at the call center, endless complaints about dropped signals and billing errors, then drive straight to Mom's side, trading spreadsheets for syringes. Nights blurred into a haze of morphine drips and whispered apologies for pains I couldn't fix. Gabriela Ramirez. That's me. 37 and fraying at the edges like an old welcome mat. Born in East LA. To immigrant parents who scraped by on factory wages, I'd clawed my way to a community college degree in business admin, dreaming of something bigger than minimum wage. But dreams? They dissolve faster than sugar in black coffee when cancer calls. Vanessa entered the picture through my husband, Marco. He was the steady one, a mechanic with grease under his nails and a laugh that could disarm a room. We met at a Dodger game, bonding over peanuts and bad beer, and married young in a backyard ceremony with string lights and too much tequila. Marco's family was the polar opposite of mine, loud, sprawling, all from that old money vibe in Pasadena, even if it was more illusion than fortune. His sister, Vanessa, was the golden child, sharp as a switchblade, with a real estate license and a smile that closed deals before the ink dried. She was the one who helped with Mom's care, or so she said, dropping off casseroles that went uneaten and invoices for supplies that mysteriously piled up. It started small. Mom's treatments ate through savings like acid on metal. Marco and I dipped into the emergency fund, then the 401k. But the real gut punch was the college account for our girl, Sophia. She'd just turned 10, all pigtails and soccer cleats, chattering about becoming a vet like the ones who saved her goldfish. We'd scrimped for years, birthday cash, tax refunds, even selling my grandma's silver, tucking it into a 529 plan. 20 grand, growing quiet like a secret. One Tuesday, after a 12-hour shift where I mopped up Mom's regrets like spilled soup, Marco came home hollow-eyed. "Vanessa needs a loan," he said, collapsing onto the sagging couch in our cramped bungalow. "Her latest flip's underwater. And she's got this opportunity, a foreclosed gem in the hills. She swears it's temporary. Collateral's the house itself." I laughed, bitter as burnt toast. Temporary? Like the last 3 investments? But Marco's face, God, that face, pleaded like a kicked dog. "Family," he said. "Loyalty." Vanessa had bailed us out once, co-signing our mortgage when rates spiked. And Mom? She was fading, her breath shallow as whispers, begging us not to fight. So I signed. We transferred the funds, clean and clinical, like handing over a kidney. Weeks later, the barbecue. Vanessa's new place was a stunner, Spanish revival with terracotta tiles and a pool that shimmered like fool's gold. Palm trees swayed lazy in the Santa Ana winds, and the air smelled of grilled carne asada and privilege. Relatives milled about, tios with beers, Prima snapping selfies, while Sophia chased cousins across the manicured lawn. I hovered by the cooler, nursing a lukewarm Corona, My scrubs swapped for a thrift store sundress that itched like guilt. Vanessa sidled up, her sundress hugging curves I'd kill for after one too many midnight tacos. Gabby. Babe. You gotta see the master suite. It's like a spa exploded in there. Her laugh tinkled, forced as costume jewelry. I followed, feet heavy on the cool marble floors, past framed prints of Tuscan hills she couldn't afford. In the bedroom, king bed piled with throw pillows like a Pinterest fever dream, she spun, arms wide. This is living, right? After all the grind. Then, casual as checking her manicure. Oh. And thanks for the nudge on that loan. Closing was a breeze. My stomach dropped like an elevator cable snapping. Loan? Marco said it was family help. Not Sophia's fund. Her eyes flickered, sharp quick, then softened to pity. Oh. Honey. It was coming lead. Legal mumbo-jumbo. You'll get it back double when I flip this in a year. She squeezed my arm, nails digging just enough to draw invisible blood. You're the rock, Gabby. Holding down the fort with Mom. We all appreciate it. Appreciate. The word lodged in my throat like a fishbone. That night, as fireworks popped over the valley for some forgotten holiday, I sat on our porch steps, Sophia asleep inside with dreams intact, and plotted my first unraveling thread. Not revenge yet, just truth. But truth in a family like ours? It's a lit fuse in a powder keg. Mom passed in September, lungs giving out like a stalled engine. The funeral was a blur of black dresses and potluck tamales. Vanessa front and center with a eulogy that painted her as the devoted daughter-in-law. She taught us resilience, Vanessa said, dabbing dry eyes. And forgiveness. Marco squeezed my hand, oblivious, while I stared at the casket, wondering if Mom's ghost would haunt that marble monstrosity up the hill. Afterward, the debts crashed down. Bills for the hospice, the ambulance rides, the plot in Forest Lawn, 30 grand easy. Marco worked doubles. I picked up night shifts at a group home for the elderly, changing bedpans and dodging wandering hands from dementia patients who mistook me for lost loves. Sophia started asking why we couldn't afford the new cleats, her eyes big as saucers. And the 529? Drained. Zilch. Vanessa's texts were radio silence, then excuses, markets tight. Soon, I dug then. Late nights with a laptop balanced on a TV tray, fueled by gas station coffee. Public records, like breadcrumbs in a dark wood. The loan wasn't a loan, it was a wire transfer. No repayment terms, no collateral note. Vanessa's name on the deed, sole owner. And the house, appraised at 3 times what we'd given. She'd leveraged it for a line of credit, buying flips in Vegas, flipping them for profit. Our daughter's future wandered into her empire. Rage simmered, slow as LA traffic. I confronted Marco over lukewarm empanadas one Friday. Your sister's a thief, I said, voice low so Sophia wouldn't hear from her room. He blinked, fork midway to mouth. Gabby, come on. She's family. Misunderstanding. I shoved the printouts across the table. Deeds. Transfers. Her Instagram flexing poolside with champagne flutes. She stole from our kid. He rubbed his temples, the weight of it cracking his easy grin. I'll talk to her. But don't burn bridges. Okay? For Sophia. Bridges. I'd cross them burning if it meant justice. That night, alone with the hum of the fridge, I texted Vanessa, "We need to talk. Tomorrow." Neutral ground. Her reply, "Starbucks on Colorado?
10 Uhr morgens.
Let's keep it civil."
She's
Two hearts.
civil. Right.
The Starbucks smelled of over-roasted beans and desperation. Vanessa arrived late. Lululemon everything. Latte in hand. She air-kissed my cheek, settling into the armchair like she owned it, which, in her world, she probably did. "You look tired."
Gabby.
"Those nights wearing you down." "Cut the crap," I said, sliding the folder across the table. Pages rustled, statements, timelines, a screenshot of her latest post. "Manifesting abundance. Blessed," captioned under a photo of that damn house. Her smile froze, then thawed into something serpentine. "This again?" Marco called. "It's a hiccup." "Hiccup? You gutted Sophia's future for granite countertops." She leaned in, voice a conspiratorial hush. "Look, real estate's cutthroat. I did what I had to. And hey, you got the glory of saintly daughter duty. Everyone loves a martyr." Martyr. The word ignited something feral. "Repay it."
Now.
She laughed, sharp as shattered glass. "With what? My tears? Get real."
Gabby.
"You're the one who signed off." Desperate times. I stood, chair scraping like a scream. "This isn't over." As I stormed out, her parting shot followed. "Family forgives. Remember? Forgiveness?" I'd choke on it. Driving home through smog-choked freeways, the plan crystallized, not a sledgehammer, but a scalpel. Vanessa thrived on image, the power couple with a power home, the Instagram influencer selling aspirational living seminars. I'd start there. Subtle leaks, anonymous tips to her clients, her lenders. Whispers in the wind of Pasadena's tight-knit realty circle. First move, a burner email to her biggest backer, a sleazy developer named Harlan Tate. Vanessa Ruiz, questionable funding sources. Check her liens. Attached, redacted docs. Just enough smoke for fire. By week's end, her texts turned frantic. "What did you do?" "Harlan's pulling out." I deleted them, savoring the silence like fine wine. But revenge, I learned, is a mirror. It reflects back fractures you didn't know were there. Marco noticed the chill, the way I'd flinch at family mentions. "Gabby."
Talk to me.
But I couldn't, not without dragging him under. Sophia's school conference came next. Her teacher, Ms. Patel, pulled me aside after. "Sophia's bright, but she's withdrawing. Asks about money a lot. Stability matters at her age." Guilt gnawed, sharper than hunger. Was this the cost? Poisoning the well for the ones I loved?
No.
Vanessa started it. I'd finish it. The Pasadena real estate scene is a viper pit dressed in Chanel, smiles wide as canyons. Handshakes laced with arsenic. Vanessa ruled it like a queen bee, her listings popping up on Zillow like fireworks, each one a testament to her visionary touch. But I'd cracked the hive. After Harlan Tate ghosted her, 2 more clients followed, whispers of irregularities spreading faster than gossip at a PDA meeting. Vanessa's empire wobbled, and I watched from the shadows, nursing my rage like a secret flask. Marco confronted me one evening in the garage, oil stains blooming on his jeans like accusations. The air smelled of motor oil and regret. Vanessa's losing the house.
Gabby.
Foreclosure notice came today. What the hell did you do? I leaned against the workbench, screwdriver in hand, fitting a tool for tightening loose ends. What she did to us.
Tit for tat.
His face crumpled. The man who'd fixed my flat tire on our first date now looking like a stranger. She's my sister. Blood. Blood. I laughed. Hollow. She bled us dry. Sophia's college gone. And you defended her every time. He stepped closer, voice cracking. I thought it was temporary. I was wrong. Okay? But this? You're destroying her life. Good. I spat. Maybe she'll feel a fraction of what Mom did, wasting away while we begged for scraps. Marco's hand shot out, not a slap, but a grab at my wrist. Desperate. Stop. Please. For me. I yanked free, heart pounding like bass at a lowrider cruise. You chose her. Again. That night, Sophia crawled into bed with me, her small body warm against the chill. Daddy's yelling again, she murmured. Thumb in mouth, a habit she'd kicked years ago. I held her tight, whispering stories of Aztec warriors who avenged their kin. But inside, doubt slithered. Was I the hero? Or just another monster in the family menagerie? Vanessa's counterattack came swift, a stiletto to the gut. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a link from an unknown number, a GoFundMe. Help Gabriela Ramirez, devoted daughter in need. Photo of me at Mom's bedside, exhausted and unkempt, captioned, after selfless care for her ailing mother. Gabriela faces financial ruin. Let's rally. Comments flooded. What an inspiration. God bless her strength. But buried deeper. The digs. Heard she's feuding with family.
Drama queen?
Bet it's all for attention. Donations trickled. $5 here, 10 there, but the narrative? She'd painted me as the tragic figure, the overwhelmed widow in waiting, while positioning herself as the wounded philanthropist. Clever bitch. She knew pity sells better than poison. My boss at the call center even called me in. Saw the fundraiser. You okay? Take the day if you need. Humiliation burned hotter than jalapenos. I fired back, escalating. Dug deeper into her digital footprint. Old emails Marco had saved, forgotten in a cloud drive. There it was, a chain from 5 years back, when Vanessa's first marriage imploded. Need cash to bury the affair. She'd written to a shady lender. Discretion key, X is connected. Attached, photos, blurred but damning, of her with a married councilman. Leverage. Anonymous post to a local Reddit thread, r/Pasadena Realty. Exposed. Top agent's skeleton closet. Affairs. Embezzlement? Check the liens. Links embedded. Careful not to trace back. The thread exploded. By lunch, local news picked it up, a blurb on Channel 7. Real estate scandal rocks foothills. Vanessa's listings went cold, open houses empty as ghost towns. She called that afternoon. Voice venom sweet. Nice try.
Gabby.
But you're playing with fire. Remember that little accident with Mom's meds last year? The overdose scare? I covered for you. Told the docs it was stress. One word from me, and you're the negligent caregiver. My blood iced. The overdose, a mismeasured dose in the fog of exhaustion. Mom's seizing before stabilizing. No charges. Hushed up. Vanessa had swooped in. Lawyer on speed dial. Spinning it as family error. You wouldn't, I whispered. Try me.
Click.
Schemer to the core. She'd flip the script. Make me the villain. But I had my own ace. The real secret. The one Marco buried deeper than Mom's ashes. Years ago, before Sophia, Vanessa had crashed their parents' car. Totaled. A pedestrian clipped but walking away. Daddy's insurance payout? Funneled to her silence money. Not the family trust we'd all leaned on. Marco knew. Covered for her like he covered for everything. Blood, he'd say. I confronted him again. This time with printouts from DMV archives. Public record if you knew where to dig. She nearly killed someone.
Marco.
And you let her steal from us to hide it. He deflated, sinking to the kitchen floor amid cereal boxes and spilled milk from Sophia's breakfast. It was one mistake. She was young.
Young?
She's 42. Same as me. I paced, linoleum sticking to my slippers. And now, she's bleeding us for her lies. He looked up, eyes wet. What do you want? Gabby? To break us all. Justice. But justice in America? It's a luxury good. Priced for the Vanessas of the world. I pivoted. No more leaks, too messy. Too traceable. Time for personal. I signed up for her next Empower Her Realty seminar. $200 I didn't have. Borrowed from my tips jar. Front row. Notebook in lap. Playing the eager acolyte. She spotted me during intros, faltering mid-smile. Gabriella, what a surprise. Inspired to join the game? Absolutely, I said, voice honeyed. Teach me how to manifest. The seminar dragged affirmations, vision boards, her shtick on overcoming obstacles laced with hypocrisy. After, at the mixer, wine and charcuterie in a hotel ballroom, I cornered her by the cheese platter. Great talk. But let's chat off record. The car crash. The pedestrian, did he ever sue? Her flute trembled. Champagne sloshing. Ancient history. Drop it. Or what? You expose my negligence. Fine. I expose your hit-and-run cover-up. Sophia's fund was the last straw. Eyes narrowing to slits, she hissed. You're pathetic. Clinging to grudges like a barrio rat. Marco deserves better. The words landed like hooks. Pathetic.
Barrio.
Echoes of every snide anti-comment at weddings. Every sideways glance at parent-teacher nights. But I held steady. Repay the money. Or the truth goes public. She drained her glass, composing herself. 1 week. You'll have it. Victory tasted like ash. As I drove home through neon-lit strips, past billboards hawking easy credit and eternal youth, Sophia's GoFundMe notification pinged. Another donation. With note, from V. Sorry.
Kiddo.
For college. A crumb. But crumbs build trails. Marco waited up. Face stormy.
Seminar?
Really? While she's drowning. She's treading water on our backs, I snapped. This ends it. He shook his head, grabbing keys. You're not you anymore.
Gabby. This.
This is poison. Poison. Maybe. But antidotes come slow. The week crawled. Vanessa wired half, 10 grand, with a note. Don't spend it all in one place. The other half? Market recovery, she claimed.
Lies.
I pushed, emailing her agent contacts, subtle. As a concerned colleague, heard V's got baggage. Proceed with caution. Her world shrank, listings yanked. License under review by the board. Desperation bred creativity. She started side hustles. Pyramid schemes disguised as networking events. I attended one. Incognito in a wig from the dollar store. Watching her hawk essential oils to housewives. Voice cracking on the pitch. Then the flip. A call from Marco at 3 a.m. Vanessa's in the ER. Overdose. Pills. My heart stuttered. Not suicide, benzos, and wine.
They said.
Accidental. Or so the cops ruled. But her eyes. When I visited, hollow. Accusatory, whispered intent. You win, Gabby, she croaked from the gurney. Happy now. Guilt crashed. Title. Had I pushed too far? Sophia's face flashed, innocent, unscarred. Was this the cost of justice? Discharge papers signed. Vanessa vanished to her sisters in San Diego. Ironic. Fleeing family.
Marco blamed me silent.
Our bed, a cold frontier. Sophia sensed the rift, drawing pictures of fractured houses. But the secret she dangled? It unraveled next. Digging through her abandoned files, left in the garage during a storage purge, I found letters. Not to me, but from Mom. Vanessa, I know about the crash. The money your father gave, it was for the family, not your silence. Gabriella's carrying too much. Help her. Mom knew. And Vanessa? She'd ignored it, siphoning more. Rage reignited. Purified. This wasn't just theft, it was erasure. Of futures, of forgiveness. San Diego's coastline mocked me with its postcard perfection, waves crashing like applause for the carefree. Sun-kissing skin that never knew night shifts. I drove down I-5 in our rattling Civic. Sophia buckled in the back, oblivious to the war. Aunt Vanessa's beach house, she asked, kicking feet against the seat. With the pool. Something like that, I lied, gripping the wheel till knuckles blanched. Marco stayed behind. Cool off, he'd grunted, but his absence was a verdict. Vanessa's sister was actually a cousin, a yoga instructor with a bungalow in La Jolla, all salt air and serenity. She'd agreed to the visit after my voicemails turned pleading. Family summit. For healing. Healing. The word soured on my tongue like curdled milk. The bungalow perched on a cliff. Windows framing the Pacific like a painting. Vanessa answered the door barefoot, in linen pants and a tank that hung loose, thinner. Shadows under eyes like bruised plums.
Gabby.
Sophia. Her hug was stiff.
Porcelain.
Inside. Incense burned, masking the tang of regret. Sophia bolted to the deck, cooing at seashells. We sat in the living room, wicker and whites. A far cry from her Pasadena palace, tea steaming untouched. You look rested, I said.
Probing.
She shrugged, tracing the rim of her mug. Detox. Clarity. A beat. Then, the board cleared me. Probation. But I'm back. Small stuff rentals. Half measures. But her eyes darted.
Guilty.
The rest of the money. Forget it.
Lie.
I'd take it. But not yet.
Why? NASA.
Mom knew. The crash. The cover-up. Why drag us down? Her laugh was brittle. Wind chimes in a gale. Drag? You sainted yourself with Mom's deathbed vigils. Photo ops for pity. I was building something real.
Real?
On stolen dreams. Heat rose. Voice pitching. Sophia glanced back, pausing her shell hunt. Vanessa leaned forward, conspiratorial. You want truth?
Fine.
That pedestrian? He wasn't random. Your precious Marco's old flame's husband. She came crawling after the divorce, begging protection. I handled it. The room tilted.
Marco?
Entangled? Before me. Yes, high school sweethearts. Messy breakup. But this? Lies. I breathed. Check his emails. The ones he deleted. She smirked. Victorious. Family secrets.
Gabby.
We're all rotten. Sophia tugged my sleeve then. Mommy, can we swim? I nodded numb, bundling her into a borrowed suit. As she splashed in the infinity pool, edge dropping to ocean void, I scrolled Marco's old phone, synced to the cloud. Buried threads, tell me to keep quiet. Gabby's too good for this drama. Sent the week before our wedding. Betrayal layered, onion skin thin. Not just theft, adultery's echo.
Complicity.
That night. Hotel room with Sophia snoring soft. I paced the balcony, overlooking the boardwalk. Drunks stumbled below. Neon pulsing. Call Marco? Demand? Or weaponize? Weaponize. Dawn brought decision. Drive home. Confront. Then strike the heart. Vanessa's probation. A tip to the board. Ongoing ethical lapses. See attached. Fraud docs. But twist it with Marco's complicity. Redact names. Let suspicion fester. Back in Pasadena. The bungalow felt tomb-like. Marco, at work. Sophia at school. I brewed coffee strong as resolve. His phone buzzed on the counter. Vanessa. She knows. Abort. Too late. He walked in grease-smeared, eyes wary. How was the trip? I held up the printout. Steady. Your ex. The crash. You covered for her, for them. Silence stretched, taut as piano wire. It was nothing. Ancient. Nothing? She blackmailed us with it. Used it to justify stealing from Sophia. He sank to a stool, head in hands. I was protecting you. From the mess. Protecting? By letting her rob us blind. Tears hot. Unbidden. You're as guilty as her. Gabby, pleading now.
No.
We're done playing house. Words escaped before thought. Divorce papers in my future. A nuclear option. He recoiled. You'd break us? For this? For truth. But truth fractured. Shards cutting deep. Vanessa's probation hearing loomed. Virtual. Zoom sterile. I prepped the anonymous packet. Timelines. Wires. The crash report unearthed from county archives. Mailed it certified. Return receipt a guillotine blade. The day of. I dropped Sophia at a friend's. Then tuned in uninvited, hacked link from a sympathetic clerk I'd charmed over coffee. Vanessa on screen. Poised in blouse and pearls. Spinning tales of growth and lessons learned. Board members nodded.
Somnolent.
Then the chair. We've received supplemental materials. Allegations of fraud. Prior incidents. Her face drained. Pixelated panic.
Fabrication.
Slander. Investigate, the chair intoned. Adjourned. She called immediately. Blocked number, be damned. You bitch. My career gone. Your house on our blood, I countered. Now we're even. Even? Sophia will hate you for this. The monster mom.
Click.
But her barb lodged. Festering. Marco packed a bag that night. Space, he muttered. Sofa in the garage. Echoes of our first fight 20 years back. Sophia cried, confused. Why is Daddy sleeping with the cars? Big people stuff. Mija. Lies piling like debt. Alone. The house creaked confessions. Mom's Bible on the shelf. Underlined. Vengeance is mine. Saith the Lord. Too late for piety. Vanessa's downfall accelerated. Board suspension 6 months. Finis. Listings pulled. Clients fleeing like rats from a blaze. She sold the house at loss. Scraping bottom. Social media went dark. Then desperate. New chapter. Gratitude journal coming soon. I monitored. A voyeur to ruin. But cracks spidered my foundation. Work suffered, calls mishandled. A write-up for distraction. Sophia's grade slipped. Teacher emails, acting out. Home issues? The polarizing moment brewed at Thanksgiving. Marco's idea, neutral ground. Olive branch. We gathered at a neutral Italian joint in Old Pasadena. Red checkered tables and candlelight mocking our charade. Vanessa arrived last. Gaunt in cashmere. Cousin in tow, for buffer. Awkward toasts. Pasta twirled like nooses. Sophia bridged gaps. Chattering about school play, her as the witch. Ironic. Then, wine loose. Vanessa raised her glass. To family. Flawed. But ours. Marco nodded fervent. I sipped water. Silent. After dessert, tiramisu heavy as guilt, she cornered me in the ladies. Mirror reflected 2 women.
Vavon.
Truce, she whispered. I wired the rest. Check your account. I did. Later, full 20 grand, plus interest. Apology? No note. But her eyes. I did it for Marco. He begged, said you'd never know. That mom's care needed the cash. He skimmed too. For his side piece after Sophia. The world grade.
Marco? Cheating?
Proof, I demanded. Texts. On his work phone. She slipped a USB. Tiny as a betrayal. Use it. Or burn it. Your call. Driving home. USB burning hole in pocket. I pulled over at Griffith Observatory, city lights sprawling like sins.
Plug in?
Or delete.
Plugged.
Messages scrolled. Miss you. Gabby's buried in mom.
Heart emojis.
Motel addresses. Recent, post-funeral. Rage-crested. Tsunami. Not just Vanessa, the whole rotten core. Back home. Marco snoring on the couch. I shook him awake. Who's Jenna?
Blank stare.
Then crumble. A lapse. Stress. I ended it.
Lapse.
Echo of his words for Vanessa. Like your sister's crash? He begged. On knees. Forgive. For Sophia.
No.
The decision crystallized. Controversial as a loaded gun in a crib. Expose them both.
Publicly.
Let the world judge. The USB was Pandora's drive. Unleashing demons I'd half suspected in nightmares. Jenna, petite blonde from Marco's shop. All tattoos and easy laughs. Their affair. A slow bleed post-mom's diagnosis. When grief hollowed us. Texts painted pillow talk. Gabby's a saint. But saints don't fuck like us. Laughter emojis. Knives to the gut. I copied files to a thumb drive. Heart hammering like a jackhammer on asphalt.
Delete?
Confront private? No. These wolves deserve the pack's teeth. But public shaming? Polarizing as hell.
Marco.
Flawed father. Vanessa. Scheming aunt. Sophia? Collateral. Scarred forever. Debate raged internal. Night sweats soaking sheets. American justice. Courts for the rich. Social media guillotines for the rest. I'd wield the latter. First, armor up. Lawyer consult, pro bono from a women's shelter advocate.
Elena.
With eyes like coals. Divorce is straightforward, she said over weak coffee in her Echo Park office. Adultery? Leverage for custody.
Alimony.
But airing dirty laundry online? Opens floodgates. Defamation suits. Sure, but truth's your shield.
Truth.
Slippery as eel. I nodded. Signing retainers. File Monday. Home. Sophia's recital loomed, a school play. Her which cackling lines with glee. I sat front row.
Marco beside.
Hand on knee like nothing festered. Applause thundered. She bowed. Beaming. Backstage hug. You slayed. Mija. Like a boss, she giggled. Innocence. Fragile as eggshell. Post-show dinner. Pizza joint with checkered floors and root beer floats. Vanessa joined. Uninvited. Bearing roses. Proud auntie, she cooed. But her glance at me screamed your move. Over pepperoni. Small talk barbed wire. Marco joked about shop drama. I smiled plastic. Under table. My foot tapped Morse. Tick-tock. That night. Burner account born at Pasadena Truth Teller. Bio. Exposing the masks in the hills. No names. Just facts. Posts queued. Blurred screenshots of texts. Timelines of thefts. Crash details anonymized. Hashtags. Real estate scam family betrayal LA justice. Launch at midnight. Insomnia's gift. By dawn. Traction, likes. Shares. Comments fracturing opinion. Savage. Get her. Versus. Sounds like desperation. Both sides? Versus. Protect the kids.
Y'all.
Marco's phone exploded. Clients canceling. Friends texting WTF? He burst in. Face thunder. This you?
Gabby.
Christ. I met his glare. Calm as a loaded chamber. Facts don't lie. Sophia is seeing this shit. He waved his screen. Reddit threads linking back. She's 10. She uses Kids Bop. Cruel. But true. You made this bed.
Marco.
With Jenna. With Vanessa. Jenna was. A lapse. Save it. I tossed the USB like contraband. Your sister's gift. Merry Christmas. He snatched it, paling as files loaded. Silence. Then sob. I fucked up. But public? It's crucifixion. Crucifixions for thieves, I said, echoing Mom's Bible.
Door slam punctuated.
Fallout cascaded. Vanessa's suspension extended, board citing public concern. She texted, "You win the war." But Sophia loses the peace. Guilt gnawed, but resolve armored. Divorce papers served at a shop, process server catching him mid-oil change. Wrench dropping like defeat. Custody battle brewed. Elena coached, emphasized stability. Your caregiving record gold. His affairs? Mud. Court dates loomed, but social storm first. Local podcaster, true crime condemned. Interview? Your story's blowing up. Tempting.
But no.
Anonymity my veil. Sophia came home withdrawn. Recess whispers about crazy mom. I knelt. I level. People talk junk. Baby. We rise above. Her hug fierce. I love you. Mommy. Even when you're mad.
Mel.
Understatement. Climax brewed at the holiday block party. Our street's annual. With eggnog and luminarias flickering like fireflies. Marco arrived with Jenna on arm. Bold. Or suicidal. Whispers rippled. Neighbors who donated to my fund, now side-eyed. Vanessa crashed it too. Unhinged in a parka over pajamas. Bottle in hand. You ruined me, she shrieked, lunging at me across the punch bowl. Glasses shattered. Red liquid pooling like accusations. Marco pulled her back. Jenna hovered. Vapid concern. Sophia froze by the piñata. Candy forgotten. Ruined, I yelled. Crowd circling. You stole our future. Covered your crimes on our dime. She laughed maniacal. Future? Look at you, drudge queen. I gave you purpose. The victim role you crave. Polarization peaked. Neighbors split. Back her up.
Gabby.
From the single moms. Family private.
From the old guard.
Fists clenched. A shove from Vanessa. Me shoving back. Cops called. Diffused with warnings. Sophia sobbed in my arms later. Luminaria's dying. Why hate? Mommy?
Hate.
The question eviscerated. Was revenge righteousness? Or just vengeance's mirror? Marco filed counter, joint custody. Painting me unstable. Evidence, the posts. The confrontation. Elena countered. His infidelity. Financial malfeasance. Trial day dawned gray. Courthouse in downtown LA a monolith of marble and misery. I testified steady. Caregiving logs. Bank statements. The 529 drain. They betrayed trust, I said. Voice even. For greed. For secrets. Marco's turn. Teary. Repentant. I strayed.
Yes.
But Gabriella's wrath, it's consuming her. Our daughter suffers. Vanessa as character witness. She's vengeful. Turned family against family. Jury eyes weighed. Sympathy for the wronged wife. Doubt for the bitter ex. Polarizing incarnate. Was I avenger or abuser? Verdict pending. I waited in a cafe across street. Sophia at Elena's. Phone buzzed. Anonymous email. Check this before you celebrate. From a friend. Attachment. Audio file. Vanessa's voice. Post-party drunk dial to Marco. Gabby's pushing too hard. But remember, the real secret? Mom's will. She left everything to you too.
I
Forged the addendum. Hid it to keep the pot boiling. For drama. For control. The will. Mom's estate, modest. But house in LA. Stocks from Dad's pension. I'd assumed it vaporized in medical bills. Forged? Vanessa orchestrated the scarcity. Pitting us like gladiators for her amusement? Twist gutted. Not just thief, puppeteer. Mom's resilience lesson? Weaponized. But the file, time-stamped recent. Confession. Recorded by. Marco? He knew. All along. Rage transmuted. Not at her. But him. The enabler. The flipper. Courtroom reconvene. Verdict. Sole custody to me. Supervised visits for Marco. Asset split. Cheers inner. But hollow.
outside.
Rain slicked steps. Vanessa waited. Cigarette trembling. Congrats. Champ. I stopped. File heavy in purse. Mom's will. You forged. Her drag long. Smoke curling like lies. Guilty. Wanted to see if you'd break. You did beautifully. And Marco? She shrugged. He recorded. Leverage against you. If needed. Blood's thicker. Betrayals apex. No winners, just survivors.
Scarred.
Word count, 1001. File 5. The rain-slicked courthouse steps blurred underfoot as I descended. Verdict paper crinkling like a death warrant in my pocket. Sole custody, a Pyrrhic crown. Thorns digging deep. Sophia waited at Elena's, oblivious to the throne I'd claimed on her behalf. But the audio file burned hotter than victory, Vanessa's confession. Marco's complicity. The forge, Mom's will. Tucked away in a safety deposit box I'd never checked. Probated wrong by oversight. Estate? Closer to 200 grand. Enough for Sophia's tuition and then some. Stolen not just once, but layered. A Russian doll of deceit. I drove to the bank midtown. Wipers slashing futile at the downpour. Vault air chilled bone. Teller handed the envelope. Sealed with Mom's looping script. Inside, hologram will. Dated pre-diagnosis. Bequests clear, house to Marco and me joint. Stock split 3 ways. Him.
Me.
Vanessa. A codicil. To my daughter Gabriella. For the burdens she bears unseen. Forgive the ask. But carry on. Unseen. The word wept. I'd carried all nights.
Debts.
The slow erosion of self. For what? Puppets dancing on Vanessa's strings. Marco pulling half. Confrontation brewed. But not rash. Elena advised, probate it fresh. Expose the forgery, criminal charges. But custody's fragile. One whiff of vendetta. And they appeal. Charges. The nuclear code. Vanessa, fraud.
Forgery.
Marco, accessory. After the fact. Jail time? Possible. But the twist, polarizing as a Rorschach blot. Was Vanessa's drama a cry for help, bored housewife scripting chaos? Marco's enabling love? Or cowardice?
Me?
Avenger? Or the villain who shattered the facade for all? Sophia's school play rear unhaunted. Her witch line. Bubble bubble. Toil and trouble. We'd become the cauldron. Home that night. Fridge hummed solitude. Marco's clothes gone. Closet half empty, like a pulled tooth. I cooked arroz con pollo. Sophia's favorite. Portions for 1 extra. She chattered through bites. Am I staying forever now? Always.
Mia.
Half-truth. Supervised visits meant weekends fractured. Bedtime story twisted dark. Hansel and Gretel. But the witch? Redeemed. Or slain. Sophia chose both. She says sorry. Then they eat cake.
Cake.
Forgiveness frosted sweet. Dawn brought resolve. Probate first.
Quiet.
Lawyer filed amendment. Judge. Eyebrow arched at the forgery. Set hearing. Word leaked. Pasadena vines tangle tight. By noon, Marco's texts, Vanessa's flipping out. What did you do?
Truth.
I replied. Your favorite lies crumbling. His call, voice raw. Probate?
Now?
After everything? Everything you hid.
Pause.
The recording your insurance policy? Silence. Then,
Yeah.
in case you went nuclear. Nuclear's here. Hung up. Vanessa's summons came swift. Deposition notice. Her lawyer a shark from Beverly Hills. We met in neutral conference room. Glass walls fogging with tension. She entered cuffed? No, civil yet. But eyes wild. Makeup armor cracking. Gabby, she started.
Smooth.
This forgery nonsense, misunderstanding. I slid the will across oak. Mom's hand. Earth addendum. Typewriter font. Dated post-mortem. Her lawyer coughed. She deflated.
Fine.
I did it.
2.
Unify us. Force closeness. Closeness. Laugh barked. You pitted brother against wife. Aunt against niece. Drama queen, she muttered. Old Barb dulled. Then, softer. Truth? I was jealous. You, the perfect martyr.
Me.
The fuck up. The crash? My fault.
Yes.
But Mom favored you, always. The will proved it.
So I
Adjusted. Jealousy. The root. Ugly as kudzu. Not greed alone. Envy. American as apple pie a la mode with arsenic. And Marco's affair? I pressed. Your puppetry? She glanced at counsel. Then, he confessed to me years ago.
I
Encouraged. To loosen your grip. Keep the family orbiting me. Orbits. She'd been the sun.
Scorching satellites.
Deposition ended. Charges filed next week. Forgery. Fraud. Felonies stacking like Jenga. Bail hearing. Vanessa out on bond. Marco questioned as witness. The climax crested at the family summit. Court-mandated mediation. Sterile room with fake ferns. Sophia absent. Thank God. Marco. Vanessa.
Me.
Lawyers flanking like sentries. Mediator. A soft-spoken shrink type. Heal. For the child. Heal. Marco spoke first. Rehearsed. I own my mistakes. The affair, cowardice. The cover-up, loyalty misplaced. I'll step up. Therapy. Whatever. Vanessa next. Voice quaver. I'm broken. Addiction under the ambition. The forgery? Desperation to matter. Tears real.
Perhaps.
My turn. Words cued, but spilled raw. You both carved me hollow. Mom's death? I bore it alone. Sophia's dreams? Pawned for your games. Revenge? It was survival. Mediator nodded. And now? Forgiveness? Not yet. But justice, yes. I slid the USB across. Drop charges if you confess.
Publicly.
Apologize to Sophia. Repay every cent. With interest. Marco paled. Vanessa whispered to lawyer. Huddle. Then, agreed. Press conference followed small. Local news vans parked crooked. Vanessa at podium. Lights harsh. I admit to financial misconduct.
Forgery.
My actions hurt family. I'm seeking help. Making amends. Marco beside. Arm not around her, separate. Sophia watched later on my laptop. Curled close. Auntie sorry?
Yes. Baby.
And we're okay. Twist landed post-conference. Anonymous envelope, no return. Postmarked Vegas. Inside. Check for 50 grand. Note. From Harlan Tate. For the tip that saved my ass from her next scam. Use for the kid. An ally. Ally? The developer I'd tipped early, saved his bacon. Unwittingly. Karma's boomerang.
Curved.
But the debate? It simmered online. Forums ablaze. Gabby Hero. Expose the rot. Versus. Vigilante justice?
Kids pay.
Versus. Vanessa's victim 2. Mental health crisis. No absolutes. Just gray as LA smog. Ending? Not fairy tale. Marco visits Sundays, awkward barbecues. Jenna ghosted. Therapy binds us civil. Co-parents in truce. Vanessa relocates to Phoenix. Sober living. Small rentals, rebuilding brick by honest brick. Emails sporadic. Sophia's drawing? Send pics.
Me?
I quit the group home. Parlayed the story into a blog. Burdened bonds. Monetizing truths without names. Sophia's 529 swells. College beckons. Vet dreams intact. Happy? No, scarred. Wiser. Tragic? Perhaps. In the fractures. But rising? Absolutely. In America's grind, that's the real revenge. Outlasting the bastards. One night. Stars pricking velvet sky from our roof. Sophia asks, Mommy, was the witch bad? I sip horchata. Sweet on tongue. Witches are just women.
Mia.
Misunderstood. We choose our spells. She nods. Content. And in that choice, forgive or forget, build or burn, lies the twist. No one's wholly right, wholly wrong. Just human, hashing hell into hope.